Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how Toyota's sales numbers are down, and we're also going to be talking about quality with Toyota as well. Before we get into this video though, I do need to give a shout out and thank you to the Brent Brown Toyota here in Orem, Utah. First off, they do not approve of or endorse this video whatsoever. I just drove onto their lot and I'm filming this video without any sort of permission. However, since I am on their lot, I will include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have. Currently, they sell the new Toyota product, but then they also have a bunch of pre-owned inventory as well. And with all the disclaimers out of the way, let's get into the video. So let's start things off by going over Toyota's sales figures over the course of the last decade or so. So prior to the Great Recession, Toyota was selling right around 2 million cars per year here in the US market. Now the 08 thing happened and Toyota dropped down to 1.3 million, almost 1.4 million cars as of their lowest number of vehicles sold in a year, and that was in 2011. And they quickly rebounded after that, and throughout most of the 2010s, they sold over 2 million cars per year in the US market. But obviously the COVID pandemic happened, and in 2020, Toyota dropped down to 1.8 million, and then in 2021, they actually rebounded back up to 1.9 million. But then in 2022, they dropped back down to 1.7 million cars sold. And so they're not down by as much as some other automakers, but Toyota is still definitely down in terms of overall volume compared to what they do historically. Because again, historically, they usually sell over 2 million cars per year. And this actually leads us to talk about another figure that's really important when you talk about sales figure, and that is days supply of inventory. This is the amount of days that it would take a manufacturer to sell out of all of the inventory they have at dealerships here in the US market. And with Toyota currently, they have the lowest day supply number of any automaker. Their day supply number is under 30 days. So it would take every single Toyota dealership here in the US less than 30 days to sell all of the cars that they currently have. And so what this means is that Toyota has the worst availability of cars in the market, which means that Toyota is more sold out than anyone else currently. And I think that Toyota being sold out is something that really needs to be emphasized in today's video, because you have manufacturers like Jeep, for example, that have a day supply number of over 100 days. Like, they have tons of inventory and they can't sell it. And on top of having tons of inventory, their sales numbers are declining. And so like Toyota has sales numbers that are declining, but they have no inventory, whereas you have manufacturers, like I said, like Jeep, like Dodge, for example, like Ram, that have tons of inventory and sales numbers that are declining, and so they don't have demand for their product, whereas Toyota, they still have demand for their product. But with that being said, why is Toyota struggling to produce vehicles whereas other manufacturers have massive surpluses of vehicles? The industry average currently is almost a 60-day supply of units. And well, with Toyota, it comes down to a number of factors. So first off, Toyota is actually still struggling with the chip shortage. Now, when the pandemic first happened, Toyota didn't get hit as hard as other manufacturers because Toyota actually had a ton of chips on hand that they had stored up. It's like they were somehow prepared for this whole situation, but their excess of chips has run out, and so now they're struggling to get chips for vehicles, and so that's the first thing that's affecting Toyota. Now, on top of Toyota struggling to get enough chips currently, something else that has affected Toyota over the course of the last couple of years is, first off, there was an earthquake that literally shut down manufacturing for Toyota, and there were several times where Toyota had to shut down manufacturing because of the pandemic. And then on top of that, Toyota also had a cyber attack which caused issues with production, and so they've had like these several like one-off events that have also gotten in the way of producing vehicles. We need to talk about today's sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. Now, nobody wants to get into a car accident, an accident at their workplace, or, you know, slip and fall in front of a business, but sometimes it just happens to be a part of life. And I can speak about this from a place of personal experience, because when I was 17 years old, I got in a really bad car accident where my car got totaled out. And because I didn't know anything about insurance companies or getting help by a law firm, I basically got completely screwed in the situation where I got no money for my totaled car and I was left without a vehicle. And this is where Morgan & Morgan can help out. They are America's largest injury law firm with over 100 offices, over 800 lawyers, and over 4,000 case staff that are all ready to help you out. Now, I know at this point you might be thinking, Ben, that sounds really expensive, but here is the deal. All of the court hearings, the research, the negotiation, and more are free unless you win. And so if you're involved in some sort of personal accident, whether it be a slip and fall accident, an accident at your work workplace or maybe a car accident similar to what I was involved in, then you might want to get help from Morgan & Morgan. And don't feel bad that you're going down the route of suing. I know a lot of people might feel guilty about this, but what you have to understand is you're not suing the person or the business. You're suing their insurance company that has billions upon billions of dollars. And so it's more about making sure that you get the compensation that you deserve. So again, if you're injured in an accident, then you can check out Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/Ben Hardy, or you can give them a call at #529, which is pound law. I think that's so cool that they got that number reserved. But again, www.forthepeople.com/Ben Hardy. Let's get back into the review. And just to make this abundantly clear with how few new Toyotas there are, all of these Toyotas you see here and the Toyotas I used for the thumbnail, they're all used. These are all pre-owned Toyotas, every single one that you see here on the lot. And while I'm pretty sure we can count on one hand the brand new Toyotas that are available right now. So we have that RAV4, which I'm pretty sure that one's brand new. We've got a Prius there in the delivery bay, which is getting delivered, so that one's not even available anymore. And then we have that Tacoma and those 3 Tacomas. So basically it looks like we have maybe 5, sorry, apparently I can't do math because the RAV4, because that's a used Highlander, by the way. 5 new cars right now. Okay, so at this point we've established that Toyota is selling fewer cars because, well, they are building fewer cars. And I mean, the inventory shortage, I mean, it's real. You can go look at it in real time. And so what is Toyota doing to get around this problem? Well, first off, it seems like they're having a little bit better luck. They're not having as many one-off problems as what they had before. They're not having like the cyber attacks and the earthquakes and all that kind of stuff. And on top of that, they've adopted a scratch and dent policy. So what I mean by this is Toyota is using scratch and dent parts to help with the production of vehicles. Now, Toyota has stated that they've made sure that these parts are of high quality, that they are going to last, and they are putting them in places on vehicles where people are not going to see them. So like, they're not taking like, I don't know, door panels off of old vehicles and putting them on new ones, because that's something that's very visible, but something that's underneath the vehicle component that you're never going to see as a consumer. You know, with a new Toyota, there's a chance that it could have come off of another vehicle as part of this policy. So that's the first really big thing that Toyota has done that has definitely led to quite a bit of controversy. So at this point in the video, you guys might be wondering, well, does this mean that Toyota's quality is going to be down by a massive amount? And well, the answer is kind of, at least according to RepairPal. So RepairPal is basically a website that gathers data on every single car brand out there in terms of what they consider that car brand's reliability. Now, the way that they determine reliability is by how much it costs to maintain that car on an annual basis, how often that vehicle has to be taken into the shop, and how serious repairs are when the vehicle is taken in and when it needs something fixed. Now, if you're wondering, the brand that is considered the most reliable currently is Honda. The second most reliable is Acura. The third most reliable, and this is going to cause a lot of people to be angry in the comments, Kia. Fourth most reliable, Hyundai. Fifth most reliable, Mazda. 6 is Lexus. 7 is Toyota. 8 is Nissan. Toyota is closer in reliability to Nissan currently, as of, you know, what RepairPal says based on, again, their metrics, than they are to Kia or Hyundai. Oh, by the way, I lied. Look, there's a couple more new Toyotas. Oh, and a Highlander. But guess what? All of those are sold already. So anyway, as I was saying on the reliability side of things, the thing that you do need to remember is that Toyota is still in the top 8. And so there are a lot of other brands out there that are far less reliable than Toyota. But the thing that I guess you also have to remember is Toyota used to be like #1 all the time, and now there are other brands that are taking the crown as the most reliable, which I do feel like is somewhat of a hit to Toyota. Now, what I do want to say to kind of close off this particular point in the video is I don't think that it's the scratch and dent parts policy that is causing Toyota's reliability to slightly slip. I think that it's frankly all of the new technology adoption. So Toyota has basically changed like a lot of their vehicles recently. I mean, look at the new Tundra. It went from having a V8 to a twin turbo V6, and frankly, you can even get it with a twin turbo V6 that has a hybrid component associated with that. The Highlander now has a turbocharged engine, and it looks like the new Tacoma and the new 4Runner, once those are released with their new versions will have turbocharged engines as well. And so Toyota is going from big naturally aspirated engines to smaller turbocharged engines, and there's definitely a learning curve with that. Now, something to note is that Toyota has definitely had a lot more success with their turbocharged engines compared to other manufacturers when they go down the turbo route initially. I mean, look at Ford with their EcoBoost. When they first released that, it was a little bit of a disaster, but now they've obviously figured it out. Well, for the most part, cam phasers have entered the chat, but regardless, you know, Toyota is going to have to figure out this turbocharged technology and figure out how to make it reliable. And so, you know, I think that this whole reliability thing being down currently is just a trend while Toyota is transitioning to new technology. But once they get this new technology figured out, you know, they're obviously going to Toyota-ize it, right? Make sure that it is super reliable. So in summary, Toyota's sales figures are down compared to where they're at historically. However, they are starting to trend upwards because Toyota is figuring out this whole supply shortage issue. And frankly, they're in a much better position than a lot of other automakers. I mean, again, you have other automakers that are in the complete opposite position where they can build as many cars as they want. They can't find buyers for them. I mean, General Motors, for example, is literally shutting down production with the Silverado and the Sierra for like 2 weeks to maintain ideal inventory levels. And so it's just interesting to see the dynamics between the different automakers. And so, yeah, Toyota is definitely on the uptrend, and, you know, time will tell. I mean, the basically forecast for the 2023 sales year is that Toyota will most likely sell closer to 2 million units. So they'll get close or around, you know, what they were at historically. With that being said, though, there's definitely some quality concerns with Toyota currently. Again, their rating is not as high as what it was historically, especially when you compare it to the competition. I mean, for goodness sake, Kia and Hyundai now have a higher reliability rating, at least, you know, according to RepairPal, compared to Toyota based on repair costs and severity of repairs and all that. And that's crazy to hear, because I always feel like there's tons of articles on Hyundai and Kia with like major recalls and all that kind of stuff. So it's just interesting to see that you know, they're apparently more reliable than Toyota. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. I'm sure that's, like I said, I'm sure it's going to cause quite a bit of controversy. But hey, I didn't make the rating. It's not on me. But regardless, you know, the adoption of new technology and Toyota's policy of the scratch and dent parts could potentially be a big part of why the reliability rating has sunk. Is, well, they're using used parts on new cars. Again, let me know what you guys think about that. And then on top of that, they have a lot of new technology in their cars that they haven't used before. And, you know, just like any other automaker, it's going to take time for them to figure out this technology to make it super reliable. So, you know, I'm pretty optimistic. I'm a glasses half full type person. So I think this is just kind of like a little bit of a dip for Toyota before things get really good, because, you know, I think they're going to figure out the reliability. I think they're going to figure out the supply chains, so then they can start going back to putting new parts in new cars and not putting old parts in new cars. And then on top of that, right, I think that they're going to figure out this new technology with the turbocharged engines and all of that. So then they can bring up the reliability of those. And I'm sure that, you know, within a few years, right, everyone's going to be, you know, hybrid EV or turbocharged, and Toyota will most likely be the most reliable version of that, because they're always almost the most reliable version. Anyways, let me know what you think on this topic, and let me know what you would like to see from Toyota, and let me know if you left Toyota because of either not being able to get a car because of current supply constraints, or because of technology that Toyota is using right now, like with the turbocharged engines. I'd be interested to hear about that. I'll see you.